by 6:10 in the morning, and I'm already at my first location. Dana? Okay. Yeah, I'm already here. So the door is locked between like 8 p.m. to 6 or 7 in the morning, and then I'm gonna sign in. This is to sign in. One of my favorite dishes, pad thai. A little spicy. We got basil and carrots. Good morning. So today is Wednesday. It wasn't too bad. I had a busy day yesterday. I pretty much saw 32 patients. Easily could have been 50, but I stayed up pretty late last night doing my notes and woke up early this morning to do some rounding at the nursing home. And it wasn't the same nursing home I went to yesterday. It was a different nursing home. That nursing home pretty chill. The rehab unit isn't very vicious, to say. I saw probably 15 patients today. I stopped in and chatted with a couple more patients. They were my patients, but I just like them. And I'm headed home. I want to go to the cafe and get me a coffee and do some work, but the problem is I don't have my computer really don't like the cafe Wi-Fi, so I probably just go home. Look, that lip gloss leave that white film. Yeah, I probably just go home and make me some coffee at home and do my work there while I watch the news, and then I will wait on phone calls throughout the day, because a lot of people, they call you. I'm on call Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 8 to 6, I think, and I'm on call at nighttime too, 11 p to 7 a. I think that call isn't that bad. I haven't been really really busy. When I first started, I was super busy. Like, they was calling every hour. But literally now, I just get like one call at night. And they try to call me like early in the morning. And this is horrendous. Yeah, so I just go home, do my charting, look for food. I should cook today, and I have to work tonight. I'm working 11 to 7 tonight as a nurse, so I will get some rest, maybe like around 5, 4, something like that. Anyway, this is my fit. I got this cute little pen. I got this from Temu. It was literally like $6. Such a pretty day today. Not too hot, not too cold. Yeah. So, good morning. I went to work early this morning. Y'all saw me on my walk home. I chilled for a minute. I tried to do some charting, but I really couldn't get to it because I had a phone call come in about my daughter's school. My baby girl, this her senior year, so we're gonna be busy She originally was going to school in Maryland, but she wanted to come here, which is great. She's with my mom right now on vacay, and I really want her to just be everything locals, because I know we're gonna be busy, and I want her to be active in her senior year. I don't want her to have to be going back and forth 8 hours. So that's the dilemma. I'm kind of like halfway over the fence with my decision, but I already talked to her about it. She's whatever is gonna be easier and the best choice for her, because she trusts me. So yeah, that's what I was doing. And then right after that, well, during that phone call, I literally had another phone call from one of potential contractors. They want to kind of like do some work with me, so I'm looking into that. I had to do some onboarding for that. Then I tried to get into my charting. Mine wasn't even ready for it. So what I'm about to do now is make some lunch. I have a 12 o'clock meeting, so I will pause for that, but I want to get everything on and marinated, because I'm making chicken wings, cabbage, or string beans, maybe yam, I don't know, whatever. Okay.
So just I want to give you the warning ahead of time. So I have a hypothetical, I use a different name, emotions and judgment. So one day, so Gary actually was, he had gone down the basement to do some laundry, and he ended up falling down the stairs and went to the doctors, and he ended up getting a visiting nurse. So the visiting nurse came in to check on him. It seemed like he was doing okay, but she started getting worried because she knew that the wife was around, but he wouldn't let her go to sections of the house that she was supposed to help, help him with some sort of, what she was trying to do was sort of figure out the areas of the house that could be potential hazards for falls. But then she now stumbled on Claire. Claire was lying in bed. She was filthy. She was severely underweight, and there was obvious signs of neglect. So when the nurse asked Gary about Claire, he dismissed her concerns. He said Claire simply is not interested in seeing people. But this nurse was a very well-trained nurse. She was trained to spot signs of abuse, so she was able to quietly leave the room and leave the house, and then she went and talked to elder services. So what we discovered later in the emergency room was pretty much horrifying. Claire had cuts, she had bruises, and she actually had pelvic bone fracture. Happened. You may be surprised what you hear. So there might be, of course, emotional signs. The most obvious one is withdrawal and isolation. Once that change in behavior starts, a lot of people say, oh, this person, she's getting older. I know my mom. She just doesn't do these things anymore. She's sort of, she's now into doing her own thing. You need to dig a little deeper if they were never like that, or they had an illness and now they're in the hands of someone that's supposed to provide total care. It is extremely hard to care for another human being. So you have to think about all the things that are going on in that person's life, that's the caregiver, to determine how effective a caregiver they are. So when you start to notice emotional signs like being depressed, withdrawn, or they start getting fearful, or they're finding it hard to communicate verbally, that's a sure sign that something might be up. Don't leave it to chance. What about behavioral issues? Like some people start eating too much or too little. Some people, their sleep pattern goes crazy. They no longer sleep well. They can tell you why, or you're not sure why. They have poor hygiene, go with them. And a lot of times it's in the point of big complications that people end up in the emergency room or in the intensive care unit. So, and then of course, the one that people might forget are financial signs. So when you start to see abnormal, unexplained, frequent withdrawals of money, when someone is now handling your debit card or handling your parents' debit card and you no longer have access or understand what's happening, when there's a sudden change in their will or power of attorney, missing belongings, unpaid bills, those are extremely important. Don't leave it to chance. Please, please, please. If there's somebody that you know that will be helpful, you need to get that person to intervene now. And I don't mean another family member, I mean an official. If it's something that needs the cops to get involved in, they know exactly what to do in this situation. A lot of police departments have been well trained in spotting elder abuse. And then, of course, when there's financial abuse, there's several layers that you have to conquer. And what about neglect? So I've talked about neglect many times, and I know that people have varying degrees of what they call neglect, but I want to tell you that you may see the physical signs of neglect, but everything I told you now can boil down to neglect, loneliness, isolation. So when you start to see people that are now not looking like the way they used to be meticulous at home, they used to clean up their home, and now they don't. They used to be people that dressed up very well to go to church. They don't even do that anymore. The people that used to work, now they don't work anymore. All those things are signs that things are happening in their lives. But when you start to then see lack of medical care, unsanitary living conditions, the things that are now going to show you, no, the person needs help, but is not getting that help. that is actually neglect in whether it's in a subtle way or whether it's in a clear way. You need to know about it. Okay, so, and then I want to shift gears. I know we remember Claire had contracted limbs, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. It's a soft spot, but that's a sign of neglect too, especially when someone has suffered a stroke and now bedbound. Some people have bed sores and things like that. It's not pretty at all. So to move on, I want to see, you have to think through. It's one thing to spot it. It's another thing to prevent it. If you can prevent abuse, you need to do it as soon as possible. You need to think it through in the course of caring for your loved one. I have one very interesting situation. If you have a loved one, for example, that suffered a stroke, that has mobility issues, and you're expecting them to stay on a third level apartment and get entrapped in there, if they need help, they cannot come down. If they are suffering, it's hard for them to let someone know, and it's hard to reach them. So the flight of stairs that they can't climb is a big problem. They can't come down is a big problem. Even if you get them there, they're stuck, they're trapped. It's like being in a tower where, the stairs is the dragon. You don't want that. So that in itself is one easy way to prevent abuse when you don't even know it's happening, or neglect when you don't know it's happening, is to bring them to a level where they have access to everything and everyone can reach them. You may have to modify your home, but it is one of the things you must do as a caregiver to help your loved one. So one of the things the simple things, right? Be involved. Trust your instincts. Educate yourself. Get other people to understand what your worries are, and make sure that they know how to prevent these things. Because a lot of times when you have conversations with people, then they have the aha moment. Oh, geez, I didn't even think about that. We should provide grandma with, a different wheelchair, that one that can get her around to the garden, things like that. But if you don't know that those things are in themselves signs of neglect, when people are trapped in, they're all confined in an environment where they're forced to be because of a disability, it is a big problem. And of course, you have think about all the services that we have in place that exist as of today. We have elder services in every town. I keep talking about it, but people don't utilize their services enough. They're also involved in protective services. Now, what they typically do is, if you are concerned about someone that's been neglected, you just pick up the phone and call. I'm going to have to send that number. I thought I had it in there, but it's not in the chat. I'm going to have to send it out to anyone that is interested in joining, in learning more about the Elder Protective Services. That number is very helpful, because all they want is for you to give them the story and some understanding, and they would send people to investigate, and they would do their due diligence. And a lot of times they're able to really help the elder without creating some sort of big hullabaloo. And families don't need to be in conflict. It's just a consultation. They come in and they look around, they understand, they ask questions, they get information from other sources, and they don't disclose, oh, this call came from your daughter-in-law because she hates you. No, that's not the case. It's really because when the more we get of these and more investigations we do, the much stronger it is for people to get to do the right thing. So what about legal protection? So financial abuse, and they're very delicate, and I want people to know that you can get legal help. A lot of lawyers and law firms follow up with people when they get older, just to make sure that they have the appropriate documentation for their estate. They also have elder attorneys that specifically work with people that are 60 and above. They help you get planning, they help you get started, they point you in the right direction, and they follow the latest update to the law. The sooner you get involved with them, the much easier it is at end in your elder's life, in your loved one's life. If you're a parent, and I would say parent, if you're a parent, then you're getting your children to work with you on that is a good idea. If you want to do it yourself, do it. If you are the caregiver, you need to kind of double down and make sure you put a bow on this. It affects everything, all the way from the decisions you make once you start, handling the affairs of another person, to even when you're talking about long-term care. If there's any reason for nursing home care and all that, you may be surprised all the minefields that you have to overcome if you don't solve this problem now. So get to it. So I know there's been a lot of talking, and if you have any questions, this is a great time. I'm very happy to speak to everyone at any time. We do have consultations. If you come to our website, you can book a consult, and you can also sign up and be a member so you can get all this information, the videos, the talks. You can get them all at your own time. You can learn at your own pace. You don't really need to, worry too much about not having information. So we'll help you break down what the doctors are saying about your loved one's health. We resolve family issues, and we make sure that anything that has to do with protecting a loved one, we will do our best to take care of it. Okay, so I didn't see any questions. Let me make sure. All right. So I don't see any messages right now, and I'm going to